You were born to be swift and strong. What did you do with your gifts, Duelist? You squandered them on self-indulgence. Sin has led you here, your path inked in the blood of gratuitous murder. You have betrayed the grand arena. Now Wraeclast shall be your audience and your foe.
You and I, we're the only ones that made it to shore. Alive, anyway. Looks like you found something you can defend yourself with. Good. This place is crawling with criminals. There's smoke rising just east of here. Could be worth checking if there's...
Even the dead rise to challenge me here. My spirit is spent. It's nice not to be dead yet.
Now there's a face I never expected to see in exile. The maidens of Oriath must be wailing in their beds now that their mighty duelist has left them. Or is that why you're here? Did you perhaps choose the wrong bed in which to celebrate your conquests? I'm Nessa, and I suppose I should thank you for ridding us of Hillock, that putrid giant you felled out there. Back in Oriath, I disdained your kind. In Wraeclast, I don't have that luxury. Lioneye's watch isn't much, but it's ours. We could use you here, while you live. But should you wish to venture out, do just one thing for me. Out on the coast, amongst the wrecks, there must be a ship's medicine chest. I have many to care for. And there's only so much I can do with herbs and seawater. Be well.
A dashing duelist, drenched and deserted on the dreariest strand. That's the first line of the poem I'm writing about you, Exile. Easy, lad. You could lacerate a bloke with a look like that. The name's Bestel, captain of the good ship Merveil. Alas, my Merveil is gone. My crew is gone. But my wits remain, after a fashion. There's an island, a hop, skip and a wade offshore of the terraces. That's where my Merveil ran aground. Watched the locals spit roast the ship's doctor, but his medicine chest might still be there, amongst the splinters and bones. It'd have everything Nessa might need. Dr. Shaky Hands Opton was lousy with a scalpel and even worse with a saw, but he knew his apothecary. Explains the shaky hands, if you ask me. Poor Nessa. Not even a mother herself, and yet she cares for us all. And what a sickly, pathetic brood we are. May she live to have her own family, a real family. If anyone deserves that, Nessa does. Errol, the Merveil's cook, washed up on the rocks over yonder. Dead as a doornail he was, buried him myself. Then, a few days later, I see him on the beach. A little worse for wear, but upright, shuffling about. A land full of disturbing surprises, this Wraeclast.
Fine work with Hillock. Where'd you learn to fight like that? No, forget I asked. We exiles have no history. Dominus took it from us when he had his blackguards dump us in the water out there. Here, got something for you. Should help you kill a few more of those undead bastards. Don't bother thanking me. The way I figure it, the longer we fighters live, the longer everyone lives. Founded by Marseus Lioneye as a supply station for his campaigns against the Kalguur. In its day, Lioneye's watch could be defended by just a small garrison of well-armed legionnaires. What have I got? A handful of starving criminals with driftwood clubs and rusted hatchets. The Eternal Empire has some right nasty leftovers. Whether it's something in the air or in the water, no one stays dead in Wraeclast. Not the first time. Can take a little while, but sooner or later corpses wake up and go looking for breakfast. That hat Bestel wears? Saw him pluck it from the real captain's head right before the cannibals barbecued the poor bastard. Waste not, want not, I suppose. Yes, Bestel's got a gift for telling tales, but I'd never call him a liar. The truth's always in there. You just have to listen for it. Nessa's the one keeps the rest of us from losing our minds. To be honest, when she first arrived, I didn't think she'd survive more than a day, 2 at most. She's been proving me wrong every dawn since. Heard a bard once sing that the fairest flowers bloom in the foulest places. He was bloody well right. I've seen many an exile pass through Lioneye's watch, and many more that simply pass on. Those letters are my way of keeping track, of remembering. Oriath might want to forget us all, but I'll be damned if I will. There.
I witnessed your battle against Hillik. I wasn't aware your people had such abilities. My name is Johan, and I'm from the Far East. My people, the Kalguurans, are attempting to build a settlement near here. We could use someone with your talents. You know the land, you know the dangers. Will you join us? I'll await your answer in Kingsmarch. You don't appear to employ the power of runes, like we Kalguurans do. I'm very curious how you accomplished what you did. I see that you have upon your person one of those so-called virtue gems, but Nessa allowed me to borrow one, and it did nothing as far as I could determine. Several of our people were already here in Wraeclast, undertaking expeditions of their own. When their outpost reached a certain size, the king, in his great wisdom, gifted them an official charter and a name. I was sent to aid in the execution and management of that charter. I serve as the king's hand. I am from Kalguur, on the continent of Midgard. We have reached Wraeclast by ship. The journey was quite long and quite dangerous. Eventually we may be able to open trade with Kalguur, but for now, we are on our own.
Right now?
Tarkly, rescued from the waves. A stricken Bestel, fate's slave. From fallen crew and broken bark, Bestel lives!
Tarkly's as good a man as you can find on this god-forsaken coast. He has some wrongs to right, no doubt. What they are, I've never asked, and I never will. If not for Tarkly, we'd all be dead. The Merry Gull ran aground on the tidal island trying to escape from pirates. As tends to happen here in Wraeclast, her crew met a far worse fate. Cannibals. Tarkly pulled Bestel from some hideaway in the wreckage. The ship's only survivor. Whether the ordeal fractured his mind or whether it was just in his nature all along, it's clear that Bestel sails a different course to the rest of us.
Not the most pleasant of arenas, but it'll have to do for now.
Calm's canoe struck this sand with the force of destiny. At his beck, the greatest war host in Karui history tamed the wild sea, their canoes coupling with the land one by one. Lioneye's gemlings met us with shining metal and bold words. Hyri's arrows withered their pride. Calm's axis silenced their despair. Marseilles Lioneye fought bravely to the last. Calm honored him with a place on his belt. Calm has shown Wraeclast our Karui strength. Calm will teach...
It seems this new arena suits me.
Calm has removed the eternal stain from this coast. The Empire's citizens decorate our meeting houses with their heads. Our warriors build homes for our families. Our families till the earth, fish the waters, fill the air with song. The Karui way is yet a seedling here, but it grows, gains in pride and power every day. Calm has kept his promise. The time of the Karui has come.
Shield that shell.
I'd almost stopped believing in miracles. This medicine chest, it's greater than the serums and salves it holds. It tells us that we can do more in Wraeclast than merely suffer. I've not much to offer in return, but please, take something in thanks for what you've done.
So, you managed to salvage Shaky Hand's druggery. Nicely done. Nessa will put it to good use. More than that benumbed quack Optin ever did.
Got a job for you, if you're willing. There's a pool near the mudflats needs investigating. You'll smell it before you see it. Stinks like a carcass in high summer, but that's not the worst of it. Dead birds walking. Animals don't rise up again the same as people do here. So if they aren't raising themselves, what's doing it for them? The answer's in that fetid pool. Clear the place out and kill whatever's raising those rowers. We've got enough living dead to contend with already. Though they might look like you or I, behind those eyes there's nothing but darkness and hunger. Whatever's got inside those folks is not even close to being human. That medicine chest you found, it'll do more than you might think. The medicine will run out, it always does, but Nessa won't. Give that girl a sliver of hope and she'll carry it to the end of the world.
For a better training ground than Wraeclast.
Black storms descend on us from the north. Unnatural tempests of rage and hatred, lashing our backs, tearing at our houses. The rain is shot with shadow. It withers our crops, sickens our livestock. And the wind carries with it a restless spirit that breeds melancholy and madness. A spirit that creeps through our dreams, weaves tales of misdeed around our resting minds. We try not to listen. We try to remember ourselves. Some of us forget. Brothers fight. Brothers die. Calm punishes those that quarrel, that steal, that murder. Yet still the nightmares goad us into malefaction. We Karui are banished from sleep.
I've spent enough time smuggling from coast to coast to know that those shells don't come from these waters. They're Karui, and look about right to fit into that rock wall in the mudflats. I say complete the set, fit them into the sockets, and stand well back. A necromancer. Just the one, was it? Guess the bastard got a bit lonely, decided to make himself some pets. Well, good to see you don't mind getting your hands good and filthy. Here, to mark a dirty job well done. I've traveled inland on the Emperor's Road via Prisoner's Gate. Had to skirt around Axiom Prison. That's the holdfast of Brutus, the warden. Bloody treacherous trip it was. Worth it? There's forest inland. Game, berries, fruit. More food than we can scrounge here. But most here wouldn't survive the journey. Would be a damn sight easier if we could pass through the prison. Tell you what. You carve us a path up the coast. Find us a way past or through Brutus. And you'll have more than a few lives owing to you. Rowers? Overgrown chickens with a murderous streak. If you're not careful, they'll talon your guts out and snap them up like big fat worms. That said, be sure to rifle through their nests if you get the chance. Rowers are like magpies, attracted to what shines.
Roaming, rotting rowers, roosting right here in Wraeclast. Squawking, suppurating spooks stalking our sandy seashore. Blighted, bedeviled bird bones beaking about our business. What? Can't a man have even a little fun in this dismal place? One day we'll be strong enough to make our way inland, build new lives on the carcass of a dead empire. It's why God sent us maggots here, isn't it?
I can offer is yours. Don't tell Tarkley, but they're the foulest fowl I've ever tasted. Still, exiles can't be choosers.
Now that you've drained that passage, best I warn you about something. I was running down a wounded rower one night's eve when I glimpsed something in that waterlogged cavern. Looked a bit like a sand spitter, only the size of a bloody ox. I reckon it's nesting down in those flooded depths somewhere. If you're going that way, then do us a favor. Spill the old shield crab's guts before it gets hungry and comes looking for us. Managed to kill a granddaddy crab. A pity you couldn't lug it up out of the caves for us. Could have made quite the chowder out of it. No matter. We've got one less reason to fear the dark, and I've got one more thing to thank you for.
The earth of Wraeclast rejects the dead. The black spirit of storm and dream now reaches into the ground and raises up our slain imperial foes. It leads the fallen from their graves and drives them to fight us beyond the end, rotted tooth and jagged nail. Our own remembered have joined their cursed ranks. No longer may we give our beloved to the birds, messengers of spirit to the sky, conveyors of flesh to the earth. Calm has commanded us to destroy our remembered with axe and fire. Calm is the bravest of us, willing to bear the ire of the ancestors for the survival of his people.
Spent. I believe in traveling light.
The black spirit infects living flesh and bone. The animals suffered first, their bodies changed, their eyes filled with a hatred of mankind that is beyond instinct. Now it is we who must bend and bow like saplings before the sea-born gale. The firstborn of the kingdom of Calm greeted us this day. The firstborn of the kingdom of Calm was buried this day. Even our children are not spared the Black Spirit's touch. What have we done to enrage Wraeclast? We look to Calm. Our king will lay the spirit of this land at peace.
It's to be a cage fight, then. I can live with that.
There's a fine line between man and monster. Brutus, the warden of Axiom Prison, he crossed that line long ago. A big lad, and as you know from Hillock, big lads are slow. Hit and run. That's the way to cut them down to size. Unless there's thaumaturgy involved. Then forget the hitting bit. Just... There's many a way to die in Wraeclast. Most of them are mercifully quick. But you get caught alive by the goatmen, you'll wish by any god you believe in that you hadn't. I've heard some of the more superstitious exiles say there's a deity these goatmen worship. Abarath, Eater of Agony. Sounds like a right bastard if you ask me. So if the goatmen hand you an invitation to go have dinner with the Cloven God, tell them where to stick it.
Today we're Brutus, warden of Axiom Prison. The way I heard, albeit from ale-soaked sailors, fear unmanned the great Brutus. Not fear of man, nor beast. Fear of death. Life is like wine, best enjoyed in moderation. I don't envy
The tale of Brutus was a popular one in the schools of Theopolis, taught in the hopes of deterring students from ambitions not condoned by the Templar. Brutus was warden of Axiom Prison, and one of the most feared men in the Eternal Empire. But there the histories end, and the myth begins, with Brutus commissioning a witch to transform him in a mad attempt at immortality. A moment of hubris that didn't end well, for anyone. If it's true, then Brutus has my pity. Some of us pay too dearly for our mistakes. Yet if you insist on learning from your own mistakes, then please, take one of these. You might need it.
I recognize that pretty face. Grand Arena, Theopolis.
Still the Karui barbarians advance upon us. Lioneye is dead, his legion slaughtered, along with every eternal man, woman, and child from Lioneye's watch to the foot of our Axiom. Should the need arise, we shall retreat through Prisoner's Gate, raising my barricade behind us. Yet our salvation is at hand. Foul times demand heroic deeds, and through my arts our Lord Brutus will arise anew to defend us. May the dry sands quench their thirst with Karui blood when our mighty warden delivers his judgment upon them.
Your crime is trespass. Your sentence is death. Come.
My loyal Declan, give Our Lady Piety your absolute support and watch her with absolute scrutiny. There is much to learn from the likes of the Inquisitor, the Umbra, and the Soulless One. I would hate for Piety to feel that she need shoulder such perilous wisdom alone. Dominus.
Dear Chevron, you have certainly had your work cut out for you with Lioneye's legion. Do not concern yourself with Marseilles' complaints. Our Emperor is fully aware of the General's fickle nature. As to your need to accelerate the implantation process, I can recommend a quite simple alteration. Dip the gem in a boiling solution of 6 parts blood and 1 part thaumatic sulfite for no more than 13 seconds. Any longer, and you invite the crystal's wrath. Once the gem is withdrawn from the solution, you have but a few seconds to install the gem in the prepared flesh and close the wound. Should the gem cool too much prior to implantation, it will become inert, and you're patient with it. Trust in that bountiful talent of yours, Chevron. My thoughts are with you. Malachi.
For some, death is welcomed with open arms. Did you end Brutus's suffering out of avarice or mercy? Only you know the answer to that one. I can think of only one reason why Piety would be here. She's interested in the sickness that pervades this place, the corruption that raises the dead and twists the wildlife into aberrations.
Marseilles commanded the southernmost of the Eternal Legions, here at Lioneye's watch. Why was he called Lioneye? Crazy fool had his left eye taken out and a golden-hued gem put in its place. His head must have made quite a pretty adornment for King Golem's belt.
The warden's free of his own prison. Well, since you're so bloody determined to cheat the britches off death, you'd better have one of these, for luck. And when they write the song about you, just be sure to mention that it was Tarkley who taught you everything you know.
My spirit is spent. I do love the stink of victory.
You're a fine blade in need of forging, Duelist.
Why would piety go and cut us off from the interior? Thankfully, I don't have it in me to know what that witch thinks. But I reckon you'll work it out. Once you've lowered Chevron's barricade for us, of course.
Supposing that piety's raised Chevron's barricade? Not that I was likely to ever make the trip inland, but it was nice to have the dream. Hang on a moment. Got a stray thought seeking safe harbour. Piety's one to watch her own back, so she'd never cut off an escape route from possible trouble inland. The cunning witch must be able to lower that barricade from the other side, somehow.
I almost feel sorry for these doomed sea dogs.
Frankly, I would have been surprised if you hadn't recognized me. Yes, 'tis I, Captain Sigmund Fairgraves, wave tamer, pirate bane, and conveyor of civilization to barbaric lands. So, what am I doing here? Apart from blowing my own bugle? I'm marooned, languishing, thanks to a pair of pretty blue eyes. Stuck fast in the filthy mud of Wraeclast, thanks to one sultry little slave girl. I liberated her from the flesh pits of Trathus, and she repaid me in full with sleight of hand and swift feet. Turned the coat of my first mate, took my hard-earned all-flame, and with it the wind out of me sails. Find my all-flame, I beg of you. Till I feel its warmth again, I'm trapped here, high and dry, until the sun's final setting. I hunted the vagaries of a near-forgotten myth to a shattered cathedral in the Inner Empire. I took the all-flame and encased it within a lantern of pure silver, the only element it seemed incapable of consuming. Oh, the all-flame does many a marvelous thing in the hands of one who knows how to harness its power. Oh, banish any thoughts of using it for yourself. It would burn you alive. My loveliest neighbor in this most salubrious of neighborhoods. Facing Merveil and finding my all-flame are two mutually exclusive endeavors. I'd much prefer you to live to see your errand fulfilled. Although it is possible that my wayward slave girl fell prey to one of Merveil's slithering progeny. If that be the case, you look resourceful enough to handle a tentacled wench or two. But if Merveil herself has my flame, be very wary. That necklace of hers provides the old Siren with some subtle wiles indeed. If the history books are to be believed, Doreso the Daring presented the necklace to Merveil on bended knee. And from the moment he placed that little chunk of Wraeclast at her throat, Merveil began to sing. It's told her sweet voice grew to fill even the largest concert halls of Oriath, and brought warmth to even the coldest of hearts. But then she began to change. Her mind and body twisted, as did her songs. For the sweetness remained, while the sanity fled. Knowing what little I do about the powers that lie dormant here in Wraeclast, I'd surmise that if you have Merveil's necklace, you have the Siren's voice.
Merveil dwells in the caves beyond the wrecks, at the head of Siren's Cove. Leave her be, and we can only hope that she continues to return the favor.
There we have it. Siren's Cove belongs to Merveil. Those butchering buccaneers sailed off that way, the ones that plundered my poor merry gull. 'Twould be poetic justice if they'd stopped off for a sing-along with Merveil's lovely daughters on their way home. Fairgraves? The explorer? No one's seen or heard of him since he set sail for Wraeclast over 30 years ago. So if you're about to tell me that you've met Captain Fairgraves in the flesh, then you've either met a liar or something far, far worse.
Ivawi, if you have to quench your curiosity about Merveil, go look at the corsairs that haunt the grave of ships. Like any mother, Merveil's got hungry mouths to feed.
So, you take me for a phantom, or perhaps a charlatan with the most unusual working conditions? I assure you I am neither. The All-Flame has bestowed a unique gift upon me. Return it, and a small portion of that gift will be yours.
Calm stands before us and looks out to the raging sea. He sings, calls, screams to our ancestors to come to our aid. He offers them gifts of old, a feast of heart and mind, muscle and marrow, cooked in the fire and rock of this angry land. We have not practiced these ways in so many years. Only in the darkest of times, most desperate of times, do we perform these oldest of rituals. Only here and now may we sacrifice and consume our own. Only in our king can we trust this return to our ancient selves.
My All-Flame, my blessed damned All-Flame. Oh, you want your moment, the firelight now, do you? Unfortunately, necessity is what it is, and for the All-Flame to give life, it must first be kindled with life. And since suitable kindling is in short supply around these parts, I have little option but to make do with what I have. Namely, you. Please understand that as a gentleman of honor, it pains me greatly to do this. Hard times call for hard hearts. I'm sure, were the circumstances reversed, you'll do precisely the same.
It's not every day that I get to duel with a legend. Thank you, Fairgraves.
Fairgraves was a good man, fine explorer. He opened the door to many a new world. For better or for worse, usually for worse when it came to the natives. There's some peace in the knowledge that he now rests where he should. Let's not speak of Fairgraves again, shall we? He was an inspiration to many. 'Twould be a shame to spoil a good hero.
I'm starting to think there's more to life than prize or perish.
Calm is gone. Our king has taken our finest 500 warriors and descended into the depths of Wraeclast. He spoke to us of a vision, a gift from the ancestors. Calm has been deceived. The vision was a gift from the Black Spirit. It has conquered Calm. The Black Spirit has conquered the Karui way. Hyri has made ready her canoes. We will take those that are left, 500 forgotten families, and carry them back to their true homes. Back to Ngā Makanui. Calm's promises have led us into nightmare. Hyri...
If you must take your chances with the Siren, then have this. It may be of some help. But please, know that you don't have to do this. Tarkley and I are getting used to having you around.
Welcome, husband. We knew in our hearts that you would find us. Come to Resso. Ambrosia and Amarissa must meet their father. Come, my love. Return to your family. Let's throw face!
We stand at death's door. Ladies first, fair Merveil.
Damn me. I didn't think it possible. All these souls Merveil and her brood have consumed over the years. You've done right by those that are dead, and by those who still might live.
Quite the lady killer, aren't you? That singing squid didn't stand a chance. Knew it from the first time I saw those sharp peepers of yours. Pirates notwithstanding, I thank you on behalf of all the fallen brethren of the waves. Now that the final cadence has been played, no one need remember Merveil's song.
I thought you were a fool for seeking out Merveil. A fool in love with death. Now, I don't know. Still, you've delivered this coast from the terrors that long held sway here. We may now find some respite, and that's more than any of us could have hoped for. But please, consider this. What have you become when even nightmares fear you?